going to make angels tonight. And here is the small one, Christmas tree ornament size. And then when I told my wife I was going to demo, and I was going to do angels, every holiday season she puts a display on the dining room table, and she says, well, make me some big angels. So this is the bigger size right here. This is about 3.5, and this is a 6 3/4. And the only difference in turning them is here I didn't hollow out on the inside to lighten it up, or on here I hollowed it out a little bit to lighten it up. And they're fairly simple to do, because basically what you're doing is you're taking a block of wood, either small size or large size, turning it into round, putting a taper in about 80% of it, turning a ball or a oblong ball on top, and then for the wings, you're turning a small bowl. So for somebody who wants new to wood turning and wants to practice, there's a lot of things you can do on these. And since we don't have some drill presses and all that stuff here and bandsaws, I've done a little pre-work, so to speak. I've glued I didn't have a solid piece of wood, so I glued 3 pieces of cherry together to get a block here about 3 1/4 inches square. And I marked on each end the centerpiece, and then I put a 3-inch circle here, and I put a 2-inch circle up here, where this is going to be the end that gets attended. This is going to be the head up here. And on the wings, this is a 4-inch piece to start out with. I've turned it, put a glue block on the back, and when I do glue box, I always put a little piece of dowel in here in case by chance the glue joint fails. I use a 1/8 inch dowel, and I glue it into like here about 1/8 of an inch, and glue it into here about 3/8 of an inch, and then that way, if the glue, especially on the small pieces, I never had to have it fail on a bowl or anything like that. But you can just find the center right away. You don't have to, oh, it's a little bit off because you glued it up differently or something like that, you know. You got your dowel right there to show you where your center is all the time. So this is a 2-inch square back here, which goes into the chuck when I turn the wings. And I put 2 holes in here, as you can see on the one going around. The big hole goes on the bottom, and the small hole goes on top. And you just draw a line through the center, as you can't see. And you want to go in, and I've got all the dimensions here, and I'll give those to Charlie to put it in the newsletter. On the 6.5 to 7-inch angel, you go in your small hole, you use a 3/4 inch bit, and you don't have to remember these, as I say, and go in 5/8 inches. And then on the large hole, you use a 1 1/8 inch bit and go in 7/8 of an inch. And what that allows you to do, you got a small lip right here. And your fingers are going to thank you after you turn it and start sanding the inside for leaving that small lip right there. When you're all done with it, you cut that away on the bandsaw or a hand saw, whatever you got, and then do a little Dremel or something like that and shape it real nice, like you see. Yeah, it's not going to show up. Like you see on the one going around. And on the top, you can either turn yourself a little halo, but what I do, good old Harbor Freight has a box of 225 nitrile O-rings, all different sizes, and I just get a box of those. I think this was under $10 if I'm not mistaken. Very cheap, and you just paint them white or gold or silver, and then use a little E6000 or some type of epoxy, whatever you want, and just glue them on the top. So the first thing we're going to do is bring this into round. I like these Easy Wood tools. At 82, my shoulders are not what they used to be. I don't think anything's like it used to be. And they seem to help the pain in the shoulders after you turn a well. Now I'm putting the taper on there. Now I'm going to put a tendon on here so when I reverse it. And normally I'd use a banana for this, but I didn't want to bring every tool I had tonight. Getting rid of some of this headwood here. And I'm going to do some more on here later on, but this gets it down to roughly where I want it. Now, since this is going to sit on the dining room table, I'm not going to hollow it up in here. I'm just going to make a spot where I can reverse chuck it later on. And you can make this fancy inside, whatever you want to do. Sitting on a table, I don't mess with it that much. Now I'm going to work on the head. except for the sanding, that's pretty much the body. When you put, you need to have a either quarter-inch or drill a half-inch or a quarter-inch or a 3/8 inch hole in the back here for the hold the wings. But I'm not going to bother to sand it right now. I'll do that at home. But, yeah. I got a glue box back here with that eighth of an inch dowel in it, and then okay, now on the wing. So now we're just going to do a small bolt. I can take a little bit off back to the front, a little bit off back to. I'm going to stop right there because of time. But you need to take a little bit more off on the inside, especially on these rims right here, and then cut this down to either a quarter or a 3/8 inch tendon to fit on your body, that hole you drilled in your body, and then sand it down and everything. So, does everybody get the idea and got any questions?